Hey book pals, I have missed you. Sorry I haven't been here. It has been a very busy November and December for our family, and I finally have a minute. I have curated my list of 26 and 26, and I am super excited to show you the books that I want to be reading this year. I have some lofty goals for 2026, the first of which is to read 26 books that I have had on my shelves for at least 6 months, most of them for like about 2 years, and just get them read. So I'm just going to read the titles of them, and if there's any like background information as to why I didn't read it yet, I will let you know. But for the most part, I'm just going to go through the titles because it is a long list and it is lofty. I think before I start, one of the things you'll notice is that most of these are long books, and I think that that's what has been distracting for me when it comes to reading them, but not because I'm afraid of a long book. I've read plenty of long books. However, I think that these specific books, the genres, plus the length, and whatever time I've like come across them on my bookshelf that I'm like, I really need to read this, and then I see the length and the genre and I'm either not in the mood for it or it's a busy time of year. Like, I really wanted to read several of these in December and just be relaxed, and that was my plan initially. But then, you know, I've got 3 older kids and they've got lives of their own that sometimes interfere with like my pre-planned notions of what my year is going to look like. So there were some family things I had to deal with, but I am back in full swing. January has statistically been a good reading month for me year after year, and so I'm hoping that I can get at least 3 of these read in January, plus some of the other books that I have on my list that I'm just dying to get to. So you are going to notice that they're big. That has been what has turned me away from them in the past, but enough of excuses. I have got to get these things read. So first on my list is The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. This has been on my bookshelves for at least 2 years, possibly 3. So it's time to get it read. People speak highly of this book. I really want to be one of those people as well. The Shadow of the Gods is a John Gwen book. I really want to get into his writing. I have heard great things. I follow him and his sons on social media. I love them. So it's time for me to read one of the books. My son got this for me last Christmas and I never cracked it open, so it is time. Next up is Kagan the Damned. I think that this was on my wish list when my sister purchased my birthday books for last year. My sister bought out my entire wish list last February. Like, I have so many books on my shelves that are just from that one instance. It is wonderful. I really appreciate it. I think this was on my wish list because there was so much talk about it when it first came out, and I really had FOMO. I wanted it now. So here it is. In February, it'll be a year that I have it on my shelves, and I haven't read it. So isn't that the case though? The FOMO dies off and then you're like, nah, I'll get to it. Another one, The Sword of Kagan. I really want to read this, mostly because people say it's a tearjerker, and I am here for it. So that will get read this year, fingers crossed. Next up I have Red Rising. This one I hear reads a little like a YA. It is appropriate for teenagers, so I'm figuring it's more YA. But I also hear that it is a phenomenal sci-fi series. I read more sci-fi this year than ever before, and not one sci-fi book that I picked up ended up on my DNF list. So I am super excited to pick this one up. That will be done this year. Lonesome Dove. This one I'm lucking out because I'm also part of a classics book club, and this is one of the books on the classics list for the year, so I will have to read it anyway. I have had this on my list forever. I think that what puts me off on this one is that it's a Western, and that is not usually my jam, but I'm here for the characters. Next up, The Prince of Tides. Another one that I have heard is a tearjerker. My sister got this for me in that birthday haul. I am dying to read this. So this has actually been like on my TBR pile month after month for like the last 2 or 3 months, and I just haven't gotten to it. So maybe that'll be January. A God in the Shed, lesser known. It is a horror book. I'm super excited about this one. I don't have a lot of horror on this list or thrillers, just because thrillers are kind of like quick, easy reads for me, and horror is a genre that I read almost exclusively for years, and I just can't seem to like find a lot of horror that I like these days. So I'm excited to add this one. I have another one that's like a classic horror in this pile. I'm hoping that this gets me back into reading more horror. Speaking of horror, I have the king of horror here, Stephen King's 11/22/63. This is more of a sci-fi again. I've heard great things about it. So many people that I love and follow rave about this book, so it is time. The Poppy War, another one that I'm just tired of being like the only person who has no idea what this book is about. So I'm going to remedy that this year. The next two are books that I don't know why I haven't read them. Like, make it make sense. I'll do this one first. The Priory of the Orange Tree has been on my bookshelves for 2 years. Everything about it, starting with this cover, the dragon, the lore, all of this screams, I will love it. So tell me why I haven't read it. It's probably because it's huge. And I just can't seem to find the time to commit to that, but this is the year. The next one, I have had this book, y'all, for 20 plus years. I had this book, a version of this book, when I lived in Florida. I moved here when I was expecting my youngest child, who is now in college. I gave the book away in a move, and then I picked it up 2 or 3 years ago because everybody that I know and love who knows me as a reader is like, when you read this book, it will be your favorite book of all time. You will talk about it forever. You will recommend it to everyone. This is your book. So I don't know why I haven't read it yet, but let's go. This is the year. This baby, I picked up as soon as I heard a synopsis about it, and I was just so happy to come home with this book, and then it sat in a pile and disappeared, and I don't know why I haven't read it. So The Rage of Dragons is a 2026 goal. Next up, I have Robert Jordan's The Great Hunt. This is the second one in the Wheel of Time. I'm excited to read this one. I started to read it right after I finished the first book, Eye of the World, and I loved it, by the way. And I started to read this one, but it was like a little mass paperback first edition kind of thing, and my eyes, y'all, I'm getting old. My eyes just couldn't take it, so now I have the bigger version, and I am excited. Next up, I have Near the Bone. This is another horror that is on my list. I forgot about this one. I picked this up because I liked the cover and the little synopsis on the back, and then I started hearing great things about it. So I'm excited to see if this one lives up to the hype. This one is a bit of a cheat, but I have Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. It is a cheat because I really have to finish my current book, which is Order of the Phoenix, and then the book that comes after that one, and then read this one in order for this series to be finished. But I put this one on the list because this would mean that I have finished the entire series, so let's go. That's the goal for the year. I started the series last year, in my defense, so it's taken me a year. This baby, I loved book one. I really did. Fourth Wing got me into like dragons, and I hated all the spice in it, but I can gloss over that. I liked the premise of the book. It was kind of like a fantasy, but easy fantasy for me, and I liked that. Iron Flame, I just got it at a time where like I could not dedicate the time to it. I think I got about 80-90 pages in and then put it aside and just couldn't get back to it. I probably had like a million goals at the time going on and things to read for work, and I just didn't. So my goal is to finish this one and maybe get to Onyx Storm this year. I'm super excited about this one, Prophet Song by Paul Lynch. This was the 2023 Booker Prize winner. My favorite book of all time was shortlisted on the Booker Prize shortlist with this book. My favorite book of all time is A Spell of Good Things. I think that I have put off reading this baby because if it is not as good as A Spell of Good Things, I'm going to be so upset that A Spell of Good Things did not win the Booker Prize that year. So I will say that every shortlisted Booker Prize shortlisted book that I have read, or a winner that I have read, has been absolutely phenomenal. My favorite books. So I am excited to read it, but I think that I'm hesitant with this one because I'm going to be upset if you're not as good as the one that I love from that year. Up next, we have Grave Empire. This is one that I just heard people raving about. It's just a great fantasy book, and I love the cover. I mean, sorry, not sorry. I love the cover, and I really wanted to read it. So it's in my pile for 2026. Up next, we have another sci-fi book, Dark Matter. This is another one that I hear people speak about so often, and I just haven't picked up. So this is the year. It's pretty short, so I'm hoping I can get through that quickly. Another sci-fi that will not be as quick to get through is Children of Time. everybody that I have told that I am starting a sci-fi kick, if you will, has told me that I have to read this. So if I have to read it, I have to read it. My classic horror that is on this list, I was required to read this my freshman year of high school, and I loathed this book. Probably because there were a million things that I'd rather be doing in high school than reading the assigned books. I was a big reader, always have been, but I never liked reading what they assigned. But I've heard so many people talk about this book being so good and this author just being so good that I'm willing to give it another shot, and that is Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes. I found this at my used bookstore for $1.75, so for $1.75, I can give anything a second try. Next up is another horror, Boys in the Valley. I hear this one is phenomenal. I'm super excited. One of my favorite booktubers has recommended this time and time again, so I'm excited to see if it lives up to all the hype. And finally, I bought this one about 2 or 3 months ago because everybody was talking about it. Finally came out in paperback, and I went and bought myself a copy of Blood Over Bright Haven. This is like everybody's 6-star read for last year, and I mean, I want a 6-star read. I want one. I want really good books again. So I added it to my list. Now, those are my 26 and 26. How am I going to get this done? Well, I need 2 books a month minimum, right? I need 2 months with at least 3 books, and I'm going to do that by randomly picking book number 1, because I know that if I just stare at this pile of books, I will read absolutely nothing. So let's find my random generator. Here we go. Let me see if I can get the glare off. It's very hard to do this. Okay, I'm not sharing that with anybody. My goodness. Ah! There you go. Bear with me, people. I am reading The Great Hunt. Okay. I don't know what that means, but I will tell you that the first time I tried to read it, it was right after the new year, and that did not bode well for me. So I am hoping that this time it will be a little different. If you have not read any of the Wheel of Time books, they are dense. There is a lot of information, there's a lot of characters, there's a lot of talking about the same thing over and over again, and that could drive people crazy. So we're going to hope that that doesn't happen to me. This is not the only goal I have for the year. I'll be posting another video tomorrow about my 2026 challenges for reading, which includes classics, graphic novels, nonfiction, audio, and ebooks. I am trying to get all the things done in 2026 and bring back my reading lifestyle the way I used to have it. I did read 107 books this year, but I will say they were not great books. I had some great books. I had 1 or 2 amazing books, but I'm used to reading really amazing books over and over and over again, and that's not something I experienced in 2025, which is part of the reason why I have curated such an audacious goal for 2026. I want some awesome reads. I want those 6-star reads. I want the books that stay with me forever. So join me tomorrow in another video to find out how I'm going to be challenging myself and pushing myself to my limits in 2026. All right, book pals, happy reading and Happy New Year.